Okay, go.
You're listening to Istorya podcast. My name is Kim, your host for the show. Tonight, I have with a very special guest, the sensational Dianne Roncal. Yes!
Hello, hello.
All right. Welcome to the show,
How are
Dianne.
you? How are you today, Kim?
Doing great. I'm doing great as always. What about you, Dianne?
I'm great. Having a great time during this lockdown.
Wow. All right. It's super awesome. It's just a nice day. Just finished my work. Um Everything is set, although the internet is it's a bit slow, but overall I think it's all good. I think everything is fine, so we're here.
And it's Friday.
Yes, it's Friday, so I can
Yeah.
definitely relax on the on the weekend for sure. Yeah, but it's gonna air on Tuesday, so doesn't
Oh,
matter anyway. So we'll just do the a lot of editing and stuff. So what I want to begin for my listeners is to have you introduce yourself. Please tell us a little more about who you are, where you're from, and what you're working on today.
so hi everyone. My name is Diane. I'm a Pampangenia, and I'm someone who actually gave up what could have been a successful career to live life on my own terms. I'm now what a lot of people call a digital nomad. I work and travel at the same time. I don't I want to call myself a citizen of the world, however cheesy that may sound. But I'm like pre-COVID, I'm usually everywhere traveling. And what I'm currently working on is I'm actually a digital marketing strategist, and I just recently started a digital marketing company called The Haze Creative Marketing, which is all about marketing sustainable and eco-conscious businesses, because I feel like we need more of those kind of businesses, not just where I'm from, but everywhere in the world.
Amazing! Look at that. We have a you're now running your own business, which is social
Yes.
media agency. Super
No, it's
fantastic.
digital marketing. So like it's like the whole it's social media is like just a branch of it, but then there's other branches as well.
Nice. Love that. I really love
Yeah.
that. And there's an advocacy behind it, which is
Yes.
regarding the environment. So that's super
Mhm.
awesome. Now,
Yeah.
I also want to congratulate you for starting your own company. It's something that is really hard to do, right? It takes a lot of execution. There's a ton of hours that you have to put on it, right? So,
Yeah. Thank
uh,
you.
okay. Yeah. So at this point, since you're doing a lot of things, you have your own agency right now. You're having your own business. I want you to describe a day in your life. Like, give us a picture about what you do on a daily basis.
Okay, so to be honest with you, my life is pretty boring right now because like we're on lockdown first and foremost.
Right.
So like I can't really go anywhere. So I would usually just wake up, check my email to see, if there are some things that I need to do. Um, just have lunch and then go back, see if there's like client emails again. If there's none, I'm gonna try to hang out with my friends, go to the gym or whatever. And then and I usually work at night actually because most of my clients are in the US.
Mm,
So yeah, so that's about it. It's literally just a routine right now, but I'm gonna tell you like the pre-COVID era where when life was way better for me. So like I would wake up with so much excitement because I'm gonna have to decide which new cafe I'm gonna go to, which stranger I'm gonna make friends with, what kind of local food I'm gonna eat in that certain city or country, or I'm just gonna wake up, message my friends like, "Hey, let's go work in this cafe," or let's go to this cafe and then let's do Muay Thai. So like usually we're gonna work or co-work during more than half of the day, and then about 3 p.m. we're gonna try to do something recreational. So like back when I was living in Thailand, I would try something new. Like I would train Muay Thai. I would go kayaking on another day. I'll try to meet other people on another day. I'm gonna try to go climbing some other day or hiking or whatever. So, and then what else? Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. And then at night I would start work and then sleep and then try something else the next day.
Wow. So in short,
Yeah.
I would call this it's a real adventure, right? Because you have a lot of stuff to do. You do exercises, and you even have this. You're studying martial arts, which is
I am.
uh, not a lot of people are interested in, but you know, it's super awesome having this self defense, especially if you're traveling, right? You're going out anywhere,
Yeah.
except
As a
this.
female solo
Right,
traveler, yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Because as a female, I could say that there are a lot of catcalls, all those harassments along the
Yeah.
way. I'm seeing it on all over social media right now. I think it's
Yeah. It
yeah,
happens a lot, to be honest with you. So do you want me to tell a story?
sure. I love that.
So like so when I started doing Muay Thai, I think that gave me like the confidence to tell them to shut up or whatever. So like there was this one time where I was backpacking around Vietnam, and I was queuing up on this bus station trying to get a ticket going to another city. There's like a guy in front of me, and he was singing in front of me, and he was trying to get close to me. He was, and like everyone started laughing, and I was like, "What's wrong with you?" And he got shocked, and then he started coming closer to me, like really taking my personal space, and I just pushed him like "f off," and I just told him to "f off," and
The
then
fuck off.
every yeah, like I don't want to cuss because so um like the look on his face, like he was so arrogant at first, but the look on his face when I did that, it was so priceless, and I've never felt more powerful at that moment. And then everyone just told him like, "Hey, please just stop it."
Wow. Wow, that's super cool. Yes. For
Yeah, but
someone
I
to
mean,
have
there are, sorry, but there are also other scary stories where it happened 2 years ago. I was in Malaysia, and I was just walking in this super empty street, and then there's like a bus. No, it's not a bus, it's a truck. And he was like driving. He was like, "Hey, baby, blah, blah, blah." I'm like, "Fuck off." And then he parked his truck and he chased after me. I was so scared because nobody was there. Like, "Oh my God, I'm going to get raped here." But thankfully, I saw like two other foreigners sitting on the street. And I was like, "Guys, someone's chasing me. He was catcalling, blah, blah, blah." And then they're like, "Yeah, just go inside the hostel and we're going to protect you. We're not going to let him in." And, and that was scary, but it's also good to know that there are people, even strangers, who have your back.
wow.
Yeah.
When it comes to, man, I think I can just saw recently about men being creepy, it's just horrible. Like,
It is.
yeah. In my perspective, why would you do that, right? There's other ways to approach a girl, right? Uh,
Yeah.
so-
Yeah, totally. It's
right?
it's really just scary. Like I haven't traveled in 2 years, so I don't know how I'm gonna deal with it when it comes to that point again. But hopefully I'm still I don't know. Hopefully I'm still like I have that presence of mind to do to be able to get out of that situation.
Yes. And now you have already that self defense, so which is super reliable. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I think I want to go with your origin story this time. Like,
Sure.
what is the life of Dianne Roncal before? Like, what was your early life?
What does that mean? So
Like,
like how was I like before I started traveling?
yes, like what? is the life of the Yan before she became a traveler?
Yeah, so honestly, I was incredibly shy and super, super awkward to a point that if if we're schoolmates and I see you at the mall, I'm gonna pretend I didn't see you just so I wouldn't say hi to you. So I'm basically someone who you'd call an antisocial. Not that I'm antisocial, but I'm just really shy. And probably I'm someone um I don't know. What am I like? Yeah, all I can remember is I'm shy, super awkward. I only cared about this little world that I have, which is pretty boring, you know, of trying to meet other people's expectations of me, trying to be perfect and being so scared to fail and be criticized by other people.
I see. So I can totally relate with you when it comes to being shy, being introverted. Because when I was still a little younger, I would say I I was like you, right? I was also like you. I wouldn't speak to someone unless someone would, uh, you know, approach me or something. But I wouldn't even say a word. Or during my college days, my friends would say this to me that you're just, uh, silent all the time, and then uh, most of the time you're doing nothing. It's like so boring, right?
It
And
is so boring.
yes, and I'm glad that I was able to get out of my shell little by little. I think I'm still an introvert. I would say this, but there's there's this portion of me that already came out of that shell and went from being an introvert to perhaps an extrovert or maybe an ambivert, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think I'm more of an ambivert now.
yeah. So that's great. That's great. Love it.
Mhm.
Now,
Yeah, it's good that you came out of your shell as well. But I feel like if you go and travel, you're like going to reach your full potential.
right, because that's where the discomfort is, right? Because
Yeah.
you'll have to do things on your own. There's some things that you really need help, that you really have to
Yeah.
approach someone. For example, looking at the location, right? You have to ask a
Yeah.
stranger, "Oh, where's this location? Where's this restaurant? Or where's this place at?" Right?
Yeah.
Uh,
Also, let me just ask, like back then I was also very dependent to my family. Like I felt like I couldn't do anything without them.
right.
So which which is good, but at the same time not good. If that makes sense.
Right. I can totally uh I can feel that. Right. When it comes
Mm-hmm.
to being reliant to your parents, right? I was also like that too. Like you can't do anything without your parents command or parents I don't know
Yeah,
what it's
exactly.
called, right? But yeah, it's
Yeah, like
something
you
that you
always
can move
need.
unless there's a permission from other people or there's
Yeah, it's like
consent.
you're always needing guidance from everyone, and like when they say you can't do this, you feel like you can't do it because you don't have their support.
Correct.
If-
Yeah. It's just I can totally relate to that as an introvert too.
Mhm.
Now at this point I want to move forward to the day that you flip the switch, right? The when you turn on the lights and say, you know, oh, you haven't told me about I decided to give up my profession. We haven't uh discussed this yet. You're being they call it dentist, yeah, dental
Mhm.
profession, and then became a wonder. Let's go with that part. So what made you decide to give up that profession and become
Okay,
a
so
traveler?
mhm. So there's something that happened back in college that I don't really feel like talking about that kind of made me think this. and I'm gonna ask you this now, Kim. Um, if you had just 1 year to live, would you still be doing the things you're doing right now? Would you still working on the same job, knowing that you only have 1 year to live?
For podcasting, yes, definitely. I'm happy with what I'm doing right now. Uh, I
For
think
work.
this is my passion. I think this is where I would really go. I've been doing it for quite a while now consistently. I've been loving it. So I would
Mm-hmm.
say yes to that.
Mm-hmm. Because it's your passion that you're working on, right?
Right.
Yeah. So like dentistry was something that I haven't really chosen for myself. Um, if I had another way, I would have been like I don't know what an IT technician,
Mm,
something like that, or a psychologist, because that's what I wanted to be, or a journalist. But going to dental school and having all these people who's doing the same thing, you start liking it. But then something happened. Okay, I'm just gonna tell it in a way. So like three of my friends died. Like it was a very sudden death.
oh, sorry.
So
Apologies.
which made me think about like what am I doing with my life? And then I finished dentistry, and I was not happy. Um, but I didn't do anything about that. And then I started researching online, and I see all these vloggers writing about working and traveling at the same time. And then consciously, actually, thanks to Facebook memories, like years before that, probably like 3 years or 5 years before me searching for those articles, I was already writing on my Facebook like I don't want the to be like everyone who's following the same routine, being the same drone of society, like waking up to work and doing the exact same thing they did yesterday. And I didn't want to be that, so I quit it and started looking for jobs online. I would spend 18 hours in front of my laptop trying to learn new skills, and that went on for 3 months.
All right.
That went on
Wow.
for 3 months. And then I decided that, okay, I'm going to try to look for a job. And then somebody hired me. It's an Indian company that hired me to do SEO. I mean, it's an SEO company, but I didn't really do SEO. I'm doing more of like the VA stuff, which was helpful just to get a little bit of an experience. And then after that, I got scammed. I got
Oh.
scammed by that same company. So basically, they didn't just pay me for a couple of months. I'm like, okay, I'm quitting. But the turning point was when I got hired by this American medical news company. They were paying really well, and it was enough to be able to travel. So at first, I was only traveling solo because they were sending me to different countries. So like I was sent to Hong Kong for what do you call this, for a conference. And I remember my mom telling me like, hey, can you please take care, message me. I'm like a baby being told that, right? And this was when I realized that I'm more capable of what I'm giving credit for. So I told my mom, you didn't send me to a good school just to be stupid. And that really hit me. Even if I told my mom, it also hit me. I'm like, yeah, I'm actually capable to do whatever. So I was in Hong Kong doing all these things, like meeting scientists, directors and stuff. And then one day it was like one day off work, and I was like, maybe I can go to Macau. And then I went to Macau by myself and walked around doing nothing. Like literally, I didn't have plans. I just went there. And then I went home and I'm like, oh, that's so cool. And then I'm like, oh, maybe I should try to kind of push myself out of my comfort zone. And then I'm like an introvert. I went home, and then I'm like, okay, let me try to meet people who are traveling. So like, I'm not sure if you're familiar with couch surfing.
Familiar, familiar.
So
Couch
yeah,
surfing. Yeah.
yeah. So couch surfing is like it's an app where you can meet. Well, they have events where you can attend to, and the events are filled with people who are travelers, basically locals or international. So I decided to join that, and then that's when. And I remember being so scared of attending, right? And I'm like, oh my god, I didn't know anyone here. But that night, I met really good people who has influenced me to travel solo. Like I've met female travelers, solo travelers, and I'm like, oh yeah, if they can do it, why can't I do it? And then one day, one of the friends that I met through that messaged me like, hey, Cebu Pacific has a seat sale. You should book to Bali on your birthday. And I did for 3 weeks.
Uh,
And I didn't tell my mom or anyone in the family. I just told them 2 weeks before I had to leave. And I'm like, I'm going to Bali. And they're like, with who? I'm like, alone. They're like, are you serious? And you're like, yeah. And for how long? 3 weeks. And
my gosh.
I flew to Bali.
Wow.
And Bali was the starting was a really, really the starting point. So like what's I was hungry for something new when I went to Bali. But like the idea of going to Bali was so good, right? But when you're there, you're just so scared. I got harassed at the airport
Oh,
because of taxi drivers. They're like, "Oh yeah, you have to pay me this much," blah blah blah. But you know, you learn your lesson, and it's okay.
right.
Um, yeah. So like when I went to Bali, I think what started out kind of like as a selfish motive grew just beyond me. Like I've grown so much after 3 weeks. Like I left as a super shy girl, and then I came back with a bit more confidence, if that makes sense. Like
Yeah.
I started believing in myself more because of the decisions I've made in Bali. So and then I just got so addicted to it that after 2 days I went on another trip to Sagada with my friends. And then after that I really just started traveling and traveling and traveling.
Wow.
Yeah,
It's
that's
so
such
when
a
you
long
went
story.
to Bali, it's like a I would call this a metamorphosis, like going from, you know, from going from a, I forgot the process, but you're becoming a butterfly at that stage, right?
Yeah, like a caterpillar to
Right.
butterfly.
Yeah,
But to be
that's right.
honest with you, every city that I go to, it's always a metamorphosis. You're always learning something new, and that's the beauty of traveling. There's always growth associated with it.
Oh wow. And also,
Yeah.
like I would I would relate this to myself when I traveled for the first time outside Iloilo. I would go to Ilocos. I booked with my friends without my mom's permission, and then I just said, yeah, I just said to my mom, "Oh, ma, I'm going to Ilocos."
Yeah.
What? She's like, "What?" So it's there's a surprise moment she, didn't expect, and I think that's that's what, surprised your mom as well. Didn't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Right.
like you have like if people don't believe in you, you have to believe in yourself, and then that's the only time that you can make them believe that you're capable to do anything.
Correct. Wow, it's super inspiring. I really love the. You know, so I think now that you've spent your time as a traveler, you went to Bali. Say from Bali, I believe you went to other places as well, like
Yes.
Vietnam, Hong
Yes.
Kong, Macau.
Malaysia.
Right.
Hmm.
So, what is something you wish you knew before you travel?
First is, when we were kids, we're always told, hey, don't talk to strangers, right?
Right.
And
Correct.
the best, well, while on the road, what I've learned is that not all strangers are bad people. That's like the most important thing I've really learned. And that the world is not a dangerous place to live in, because the world is a beautiful place to live in. And you just have to find the beauty in that. So, like, I remember, I don't know, but like when you travel, you all meet like 99% of the people you meet are good people, like really good people, or at least that's the people I've met. Um, each person, they have a story that they can share that you can learn from. And sometimes even if they're strangers, they really have your back. Like there's this one time I was in Vietnam and I was going to the 7-Eleven store. I opened the door and then another woman was trying to open the door and we looked at each other eye to eye and I'm like, oh, she looks weird. And then the funny thing is we went to the same fridge, right? And she's like, no, just go first and get it. I'm like, okay, thank you. And then she looked at me after getting my drinks and she was like, can you please help me? And I'm like, are you okay? And then she's like, I'm not really feeling well because I feel like I was drugged. And
Oh.
yes, so things like that happen. And and I think as a woman it's easier to find other women who are willing to help you. So I was like, okay, what can I help you with? And she's like, I need to go to the hospital. So I didn't really believe her at first because she might have hidden agenda. So she was like, can you get my wallet, my passport, my cards in my hotel room? Like, I can't do that. So I told her like, hey, just go to my hotel and let's talk to the what do you call this? To the receptionist, so they can call an ambulance and we'll take it there. And she was like, no, I can't do that. Blah blah blah. So we went to her hotel, and she was literally throwing up in front
Mhm.
of the hotel. And I told the receptionist, hey, our guest, you have to take care of her. And then they're like, no, she's using drugs, blah blah blah. But I'm like, yeah, but can't you see she's sick? And are you just gonna let her die outside? And then they didn't want to do anything with her, and that's just so sad. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna take her to the hospital, but you need to help her upstairs to get her stuff. So they did that, and we went to the hospital, and then she felt better, and she was like so thankful. Like, I wouldn't have known what I would have done without you, because like nobody wanted to help her. And sometimes, like, I think most of the people I've met on my travels, they've become my good friends as well. And I know that I would still meet people who'd have my back no matter what, more than the people that I already know here for years. That's like a shade. Please cut that. But yeah, but basically, like, they're just the most open-minded, very helpful people I've ever met.
Right. You
So
really can't
yeah.
deny that there are really some people who are, you know, just strangers and they're even better than your current friends. You can't deny that. For sure.
Mhm.
I think that's what I experienced on the journey as well. When I did
Mhm.
this podcast, it's like, some people would, "Oh, no, no, they're not interested in you anymore, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think like when you meet strangers, there's no judgment as well. So like they don't care what your background is. They just care about what you care about. They just care about um, living in the moment, if
Yes,
that makes sense. So yeah, and I
indeed.
think one of the things that I wish I knew as well is that I wish I traveled when I was 18. I wish I started as soon as I turned 18, because life is too short to not leave.
Right. If if money isn't a barrier, then I will definitely choose traveling all over the world as well. It's just a fun experience when I went to Ilocos. There's a ton. Although it's a little bit tiring for me because at that time I was I went out from work, straight from work, in a call center, and then I didn't have much sleep. So, yeah. But I wouldn't recommend that. I wouldn't recommend going out from work and then you go out and you travel afterwards. So it's not. It's so exhausting, right?
Mhm.
So
So
yeah.
yes, I, I
No.
I experienced that as well. And
Right.
like do things that you're scared to do. Because like back when I was in Laos, I hitchhiked with strangers. And the road was like from Pampanga to Baguio, so that's like really far. It's probably like a 7-hour ride if you're gonna take the bus. And we just hitchhiked, literally calling strangers like, "Hey, can you take us here? Is this on the
Oh,
way?" And then we got to our destination for like 7 hours, the
wow.
same way you'd take a bus. So yeah, because like that's how you create adventures, I would say.
Indeed. Indeed. And also, I like your instincts. I mean, a woman's instincts, would never go wrong, right?
I
When
don't know,
when
maybe.
when you went to, when you helped that woman, right? There's that feeling that she was already drugged, and it came out right. There's something
Yeah, I
wrong
was like, she looks weird.
right? But there's a different feeling, right? There's a different feeling.
Yeah, 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 for sure.
So nice, very nice. So
It's fun.
related to the previous question, what is something you've only discovered on a personal level? I think you already mentioned it before, but I wanna dive a little deeper or emphasize on that as well.
Yeah, so like what I learned is that education is not always in the classroom because if I think I've learned all the most important lessons that I'm applying in my life to from what I've learned while I was traveling. So like I've learned to be street smart. I really try to immerse myself in the culture, and from there you're gonna realize that the world doesn't really revolve around you. Um, how do I say this? So like there's a whole world out there, and people don't have the same mentality as you, and you just have to be understanding of that. Um, Also learn to like when things don't add up. Also learn how to question without being scared of authority because I've done that a lot. No, really, I've done that a lot in Cambodia because like they ask you to pay. I forgot how much. Like I mean, it's just $5. Really, they ask me even in Thailand as well. So they asked me to pay $5 for my visa. I'm like, this is a visa-free country, and I'm from the Philippines, so it's Southeast Asia. And they're like, no, you have to pay. I'm like, okay, if you tell me what it is for, then yeah, I'm gonna pay you. And they're like, yeah, okay.
Really? Really? I thought
Yeah.
you don't have to pay anything. It's visa free, right?
Yeah,
That's
but they're
my
trying
initial.
to to take money from tourists, I think.
Yeah, for some
So
reason that sucks.
yeah, so learn to question authority. That's also very important as well. And on a personal level, I feel like you don't have to um, dim your own light to please other people. Because once you start showing your sparkle or light to others, the impact is much bigger, right? So like
Yes.
for me, I'm just like literally posting on my Instagram, sharing my story, not caring about whether or not someone would be happy or someone would find it inspiring. And then I would just get random messages from people saying, "Hey, you inspired me to travel again," or like, "Hey, I came across your page, and I think what you're posting is inspiring. Just keep posting and posting." So like I think like when you let yourself shine, you this is kind of like the quote from, I'm not sure if you've watched Coach Carter, but when you let yourself shine, you give others opportunity to shine on their own as well.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
I thought
you
it
know that
shined like a
quote.
diamond. I thought it shined like a diamond, like Rihanna.
I would have just sang it.
Oh my.
I'm so metaphorical, but I really am actually.
Wow. And hold on right there. You know, Instagram, you mentioned you're posting a lot on Instagram because of your travels, right? You
Yes.
inspired people. I want to know about your insights on. I see this a lot. I really see this a lot. Like, what do you think about this statement of not to brag but to inspire? What do you think
Well,
about it?
yeah, because like in the first few months, like I would always tell my friends, oh, I went to Vietnam, I went to this, I went to that. And they think I was bragging, but I was actually just telling a story, right? So, but whenever I post on Instagram, I would usually tell people my story, what struggles I went through, and how I was able to surpass that situation. What lessons did I learn through that? And I think that's what a lot of people get inspired about. You can just talk about all your achievements without talking about your struggles and what you went through as well, but also sharing the lessons that you've learned all throughout the journey, whatever that may be.
Now that I would call it a process because it's like you're documenting what is going on with your life, with all the vulnerabilities, with all this insecurities
Mhm.
and all the struggles you've had. I would really call that a the process or the documenting of
Yeah.
life. Yeah.
Yeah, because like when you know your process, you can always kind of like, oh, I failed at this. And when you tell people that you failed at something, I think um, you make yourself, you take ownership of what you've failed from. So when you take ownership of certain situations, you also find ways on how you can improve yourself, or push yourself to keep going to where you want to be.
Yes. This term called accountability. I would say this accountability.
Yes,
Right.
100%.
Yeah. And you know what I hate about, you know, because I see that statement as it depends on the content as well, right? For
Yeah.
example, that person would say not to brag but to inspire, and then she's flashing a lot of money, right? And also, like, or for example, a Lamborghini, right? The,
Oh yeah, I think it's okay to showcase those things if it's true. You
yeah.
know what I mean? Because like
And
I've seen a lot of people who do that, and then they get because like there's this one Instagram page that my friend told me to follow because it's making fun of them for some reasons. So like there's these Instagram influencers that are showing like, oh yeah, I have a Lambo, I have all girls in in a, what do you call this,
yeah,
in a ship or something, cruising together, blah blah blah. I have billions of dollars, I have this house, whatever. And then this Instagram page apparently shows them like, hey, everything they're showing you is fake. And then they show proof that it's actually fake and somebody else owns this house and that the photo was edited,
right.
things like that. So, which
Uh,
is odd.
for some, it's not really edited, but I would say that they're rented, right? If
Could
you,
be, yeah.
yeah, if you dive a little deeper, because I watch content about exposing fake gurus and all those fake,
Oh yeah.
yeah, fake
Yes.
influencers. Like, whoa, I have this kind of money, and then, then it turns
Yeah.
out, uh,
Yeah. I mean, like if it's true, yeah, just post it if it makes you happy. But if it's
mm,
fake, no, thank you.
yeah,
Like you didn't have to do that to make yourself feel better, right?
right. It's there's a I think the content itself is what separates from really bragging or inspiring. I think
Mm-hmm.
there's a deeper meaning behind it. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's hard.
Yeah.
No.
Ooh, good
Okay, so
singing.
sorry. Okay, so you already traveled in I think mostly Southeast Asia, right? So
Yeah.
it's a super fun experience with all the culture. I can really see the culture. Now, name your top travel destinations. For example, in yeah, in where you traveled.
Based on what? Based on the people, based on the food, because like it's It's
Ah,
very difficult to
okay.
decide.
What about the culture? Right.
Based on culture, I
Yeah.
would say, wait, top three, but not in order because it's
Yeah,
because
in
it
any
is.
order. Yeah. Let's go with it.
I would say culture. It's going to be Thailand. Oh
Mm.
no, no, it's Indonesia. It's Indonesia for sure.
Are you
And
sure?
then it's gonna, yes, because I lived in Bali. I lived in Bali, so they're pretty cultural. I
Yeah.
mean, they have lots of temples and stuff like that. Even Thailand. So Bali, Thailand, and Vietnam. Number four is Japan.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. That's no
So
surprise. Yeah.
those four. But like, if there's a country that I want to live in, number one is definitely, so far with all the countries that I went to, it's definitely gonna be Vietnam. Like, Vietnam is the best
Mm.
for
Oh,
me.
yeah, Vietnam. There's a ton of um only one word. When it comes to learning, I only learned about a word or two in Indonesia, right?
What is it?
Salamat pagi. Right?
That's Filipino.
Salamat
Salamat.
pagi. What? It's
What is pagi?
I thought it's good morning, right?
Ah, okay. Yeah, 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 it is.
Yeah. If
I don't normally
it's
say
here
that.
in
So.
Filipino and then translated to English, that's thank you, Stingray, right? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, yeah, that's true.
Pagi, Stingray. So, salamat is thank you, Stingray. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And all right. So, when it comes to what, how do you keep yourself humble despite the
I'm
achievements you have?
I'm always humble. What are you saying?
All right.
No, because like no, the thing is like when you travel,
Hmm.
when you get immersed in different cultures, in different people as well, because like this is it's actually very interesting because like there was this one night I was in a hostel in Bali talking with people I just met, and it was this Brazilian guy's birthday, and he was telling us about his story, and he was like, I didn't expect that I'm gonna be here for my 30th birthday, because he said that he grew up very poor and like
Mm.
no one in his family finished college. They're always in high school, and then like everyone's thinking that he's just gonna end up the same way. And then there are other people who are very successful with their careers, and and then that's when I realized that we're all from different backgrounds, but we're all just in one place, having drinks, having fun together, learning lessons. And I think that's how you keep yourself humble, knowing that you're around different people, and it's not about your degree, it's not about what you've achieved in life, it's about being, it's about being kind to other people, it's about being there when people need you, it's about celebrating wins together, and being together through the losses as well, and understanding that the world doesn't revolve around you.
Yes.
So yeah.
The selfishness, right? There's
Yeah, I mean, although I can say that I am selfish because I always think about myself, but no, it's true.
yeah.
But how do I? But like when you travel, you just have that understanding that the world doesn't really revolve around you, and that you have to be more understanding of what's going on as well.
Wow. That's really awesome. Like, having these, I think one thing that contributes to that is you're remembering where you came from. You would understand the how you went through before you achieve your success, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because like we have. I mean, it's typical in a Filipino household to have like maid, I think. So like we have that here. And then when I traveled, I don't have that. So no one's doing the laundry and stuff. And I learned that all by myself. And then when I went home, I was too shy to even ask my our maid to do the laundry for me. Like they're already tired doing all these things. Why would I add up to it? So like it makes you think of other people more than just yourself.
Yeah. Indeed.
And that you also realize that there are also humans who go through exhaustion, and they also get hurt, and stuff like that.
Right. Okay, that's really awesome. So, when it comes to what you're doing, what is the most fun of part of your process? I know everything's fun, but
No, it's not.
right? Because you're traveling, it's fun. Of course, you're gonna discover a ton, right?
You should
But
ask me like the worst part.
all right, let's go with that then. Like, what's the worst part of your process?
Oh, actually, yeah, that's actually a good question. I just realized. Like a lot of, especially immigration officers coming from a developing country, and there was the first time I was traveling, I would be away from the Philippines for a year, and every immigration officer that I come across with, they question you like, how can you afford to travel? And I think the stigma that Southeast Asian women are into prostitution, and it
Mm,
sucks, right? So kind of have that stigma. So they always question me like, okay, how can you afford to travel? What do you do for work? How come the last time you went to the Philippines was like few months ago? Are you working here? And I'm like, I'm not. Like, I have an online job.
uh,
And yeah, it's that's not fun, especially when they
yeah,
try to put you in their office and interrogate you as if you did something, when there are other people like Westerners, Europeans, or Americans doing the exact same thing without being questioned.
right.
So yeah, that's like the worst part of it.
Really, like I didn't know that they would, especially as you mentioned, Southeast Asian countries, they would ask you if you're prostitute. I didn't know that. Oh my god.
No, there are, I mean, like, not just in the Philippines, it
Mhm,
happens with different nationalities. So I feel like every Southeast Asian, I mean, it doesn't have to link to
mhm.
prostitution, but it could also link to like illegal work, like being, I don't know what to call that, like working illegally, like
Yeah.
teaching. Like, I've
Mm,
met a lot of people in Thailand who are teaching illegally in Thailand.
jeez. Wow.
Yeah. So that's not fun. I hate it. And commutes as well. I remember when I was in Laos, I was cramped up in this small van of people who don't, well, obviously they're not going to speak English. And it was like an 8-hour trip. And it was the worst because everyone was like throwing up around me. Imagine just being seated in the middle of a van and you're like there, and then everyone around you, they're throwing up and you forgot your earphones. So
Oh shit. That's
I'm
so
like,
unlucky. You're
really, really
surrounded with all those people who are motion sick. Like what the hell?
yeah. But like, you know, when you're in that situation, it's the worst. But like when you think about it after it happens, it's just like something that you're gonna laugh about because it's part of the adventure.
Wow, that's the worst. I think that's really the most unlucky scenario where you're surrounded with all the people who are all and
No, there's actually something worse because like I've met someone. She's a British girl that I've met in Vietnam.
yeah.
She got the worst ever travel. So she was like, "Oh,
She's
I
thrown up.
got." Yeah, she's like 25 when I met her.
Yeah.
So like she told me like, "Hey, I got a ticket going to Laos. It's like a sleeper bus. So we were traveling to Vietnam to Laos, right? And he got a sleeper. No, it's not. It's a sleeper bus. So like you can literally lie down and sleep in that bus. Whereas what I got was much cheaper, but it's not a sleeper bus. So the funny thing is, we both went to the well, we went separately to this bus station. And then I was waiting and I was texting like, Dina, this is the worst bus I've ever taken. Cause
Oh.
like there's like bananas, vegetables in the bus. And I was alone
Oh.
in the bus. I'm like, Dina, this is the worst. And then after probably like 30 minutes, someone was coming up in the bus and it was her. She
Ah.
paid a lot. She paid a lot to get a sleeper bus and she ended up in the same bus as mine. And
Oh.
the worst thing is the bus's aircon broke down and it was really hot. So it broke down. We didn't have
Geez.
AC going and it was like a 12-hour bus ride. And then for some reasons the locals were making fun of her. She was being bullied in the bus and it was
Oh
the worst.
gosh.
Yeah. And that's like really bad for her.
Yeah, at least for Filipinos, for example, if it's hot, we have, especially women, they have their abanico ready, right? Their fan ready.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, but for some, especially, I would say other countries like European or Western countries, right? They wouldn't bring that, or they probably expect the heat, of course, but they wouldn't bring such kind of, I don't know. Well, I
Yeah,
guess.
no, but she lived in Vietnam for a while.
Oh,
I
okay,
think for a
that's
year. Yeah, so she knows the drill.
uh yeah.
But she didn't have it. I don't have it.
Uh, okay, so that was really unlucky then. Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So what's next? I mean, you know, you you've already had this tremendous success as a traveler. What's next for you? Like your vision, your goals. You already have the
Yeah.
company, right? So,
hmm So like, honestly, so like when I went home and I wanted to actually apply at the Department of Tourism. Yeah, I'm not kidding. And that's because I really want to push sustainable traveling. Because, like, the way we travel, you know what happened to Boracay? It was
right.
closed down because of environmental issues as well. And it's not something I want to happen to different beautiful cities or provinces that we have. So yeah, so I wanted to join the Department of Tourism, but I don't know how to do that because I asked them, no one's replying. And so for now, I think I'm just gonna keep pushing with what I do with the haze. Just try to get as much businesses to market and put out there because there's not a lot of them yet. Um, and after COVID, I want to go to South America.
Ooh.
Yeah, because I
Yeah.
want
Yeah, that's amazing.
because I want to learn. I want to learn my Spanish.
Oh,
I want to learn my
okay.
Spanish, but also because I think I've been doing this for a while I was traveling, is traveling with a purpose. So it's not just about traveling for the sake of traveling. When I was in Bali, I traveled and tried to, learn more about different organizations, charitable ones that's all about sustainability and stuff. So yeah, that's something that I want to do. Um, I don't know what's in South America yet, but for that, I just want to, be more purposeful and conscious about what I do. Um, but really, if I can get into the Department of Tourism, which I'm not yet giving up to, I'm gonna try to push sustainable traveling in the Philippines because there has to be a way to meet halfway, right? You can travel, but be helpful to your environment as well.
Yeah.
So it's a win-win situation for us and for the tourists.
Right. Indeed. It's gonna be a hard one though, I would say, because whenever there's change, I would say there's always resistance, right? Uh, uh the people wouldn't listen to you right away. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
hmm But you know what I've learned? I mean, I know it's not going to be easy. Like, even just the whole point of trying to get into DOT is already difficult.
Yeah,
So
you have to pass
um
exams.
yeah, like I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I think I just need to do a little bit more research. If not, I can start a vlog that would promote that.
Correct.
A vlog or
Awesome.
a blog or use my Instagram with 1,000 followers.
Having 1,000 followers on Instagram is already a lot, right?
I made it private now, but yeah, I'm gonna have to make it public again and share more stories.
Uh, I'm looking forward to that. Yeah.
Only when I travel.
Wow. So, right. One more thing. What's your best piece of advice for people who want to pursue what they want to do in life, or having the soul searching thing, right? Or just want to travel.
Yeah, so first is surround yourself with people who understand your dreams and your struggles, because these people will be more uplifting and supportive of you 101%. So they know what it's like to go after what you really want to do. Because, like, without me surrounding those types of people, I wouldn't be booking that flight to Bali. I would stay in my comfort zone and be boring. And then the other one is don't be scared to start and fail, because it's all part of the process. Like, if you want to change a crazy, amazing, but super stressful future, just go for it. Like, you should ask yourself this question, like, would you rather suffer your whole life doing things to impress other people, and just because you're scared to be criticized, um, or be laughed at over the things that you're actually super passionate about? So, like, it's your choice. Like, you always have a choice in those things: suffer now but be amazing later, and be happy later, or whatever, or spend the rest of your life wishing for a life you've been dreaming of. So yeah, and start young. Start young.
Okay. I'm a firm believer of the environment. Yeah, because
Mm-hmm.
uh, you know, if there are people who are surrounding you, lifting you up, things would really get better. For example, you're this person. You're only you have this sheer amount of willpower, right? You're this building. You have this. You're this very big building, and then if everyone's around you, tearing you down, demolishing you, then eventually it doesn't matter how durable you are, it's gonna break out, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, that's
So
so true.
I think I've said this a couple of times before on the podcast about the environment, being a firm believer.
Mm-hmm.
So
And also, you always have to think that you have a choice. This is something I recently learned, that you always have a choice. You can't blame other people for the misfortunes or whatever you have. So, like, let's say, oh, I didn't go jogging today because it was raining, or oh, I didn't how do I oh, I didn't study today because I have so much on my plate already. But it is your choice to make time for that thing. You can't blame it on other things. Like, when you take accountability for the things that are happening in your life, that's going to be impactful towards you. And that's something that I've been struggling with the past year, because I'm like, oh, I want to go to Mexico, but I can't because of the COVID, because of the pandemic. And I'm blaming the pandemic because because I was feeling stuck. But if I change that, like, okay, I'm feeling stuck, what can I do to be able not to feel stuck? So, you know what I did? I decided to um, try to talk to my friends who are incredibly smart. So, like, that way I wouldn't feel stuck. Like, every day you're still learning something new, right? So, like, yeah, I try to make time for those kind of things, which is good because I'm not only learning about what's happening around the world, I'm also learning about business. So at least I'm not spending my time hating my life here when when you're learning when you're learning something new through those people, because I took accountability, I took ownership to what's already going on in the present.
Right. Love your message. You always have a choice. Ladies
Yes,
choose.
you always, yes,
Yeah.
ladies first.
All right. There we go. All
Yes, you always have
right.
a choice.
So,
Yeah, that's, I love that. I love that actually. I love that. I love that because I recently just learned that, so it's kind of fresh
yeah.
still.
Okay. So, everyone, to all my listeners, please follow Dianne from Dianne with Love on Instagram.
Yes.
Um, YouTube, I think.
No, I don't have it.
No, I don't
I
have.
should have created it.
Uh,
Then we would have had followers, right?
so there we go. From the end with love, please follow her on Instagram. You will really learn a lot. You will really see her journey, those pictures, all those adventures she had. So yeah, there we go. Thank you for being on, Diane. Super to have you.
All
Super happy
right.
to have you.
Thank you, Kim. That was super fun.
Yeah.
A pleasure to be here.
Yes, thank you. I really appreciate you. Please take
Thank
care.
you so much. You too.
Bye.